Good evening, everyone. And welcome to those that are online as well joining us for our Wednesday evening meditation here at Unity North. I'm Reverend Richard Burdick, and it is my pleasure to take a really big backseat. I am here with one of my favorite people on the planet, my cohort at the first service on Sunday mornings, Dr. Greg Raduca, and he's going to be leading the meditation this evening. So I invite you to open your heart and your mind and your spirit and your soul to Dr. Greg, who's going to take the microphone. I'll lead a couple of chants, but I invite you to begin a journey with us, to go someplace beautiful and wonderful, and know that you have an amazing tour guide this evening.
Thank you so much, Richard. It's a real honor to be here with you, as it always is. And just wonderful to be here with all of you. I've known many of you for many years and know your histories and know a lot of what you've been dealing with through the years and your successes, and like mine, your successes and challenges. And it's just wonderful to know that history, because it's such a rich history. No one of us is the same. No one of us has come to this wonderful place by the same route. At least I haven't encountered it. And so we all have a different journey to get here, and our journey remains somewhat different because this place just encourages such individuality, but it also encourages at the same time interbeing, that we're all walking each other home, as some of us put it. So it's a wonderful balance that's present here, and I feel like in each one of you as well. So tonight I'm going to talk with you about a tool that's been useful for me through the years for dealing with challenging times. Not that 2024 is a challenge in any way, but maybe this tool might be of some use to you. Some of you may be already using it. But it's something I learned through Ram Dass, and probably in the 80s is when I began going to some Ram Dass retreats. And it's living on two levels at the same time to help make sense of things, what's going on, to help make sense of not only my own suffering, but the suffering of others, the suffering of my loved ones, friends, suffering in the world. And what that tool is about living on two levels is living on the level of perfection at the same time as living on the level of duality. And this is all a little intro to the meditation, which we're going to get into in just a bit, but I did want to give it a bit of an intro to give the meditation a little context, a little grounding. And when I say that first level is a level of perfection, I don't mean achieving perfection, which is far beyond me, but it's experiencing perfection in the world and inside, but not necessarily being a perfect human being. In a way, we're all humanly perfect. We're being perfectly human, because humans, if you're like me, you make mistakes all the times. You have failures as well as successes. So it's not trying to be perfect by any stretch, but it is entering into a realm, if you will, or an experience of the perfection of things. One might say the perfection of God, the soul, while at the same time dealing with the duality of things. We all know that we're living in the real world. We all want to be so spiritual that we're no earthly good. So it's not losing track of what's happening out there in the world by going to this plane, if you will, this domain of perfection. So, we don't have too much time for questions right now because we want to get into the meditation, but in part 2, which I hope you'll be able to stay for, we can dialogue and I can learn from you, and perhaps you could learn from me. So, if you would, just get comfortable and relax. And just before we go into this meditation, Richard is going to do a chant.
I invite you to hold the words to this chant. Hold them close. Using Greg's definition. I am whole, perfect, and complete. Say that with me. I am whole, perfect, and complete. Just as I am. Just as I am in the mind of God. Just as I am in the heart of God. Just as I am in the love of God. I am whole, perfect, and complete. Take a deep breath, closing our outer eyes, and opening our inner eyes. Take these words and make a joyful sound in this moment. I am whole, perfect, and complete. I am whole, perfect, and complete. I am whole, perfect, and complete. Just as I am. Again. I am whole, perfect, and complete. I am whole, perfect, and complete. I am whole, perfect, and complete. Just as I am. Just as I am in the mind of God, just as I am in the heart of God, just as I am in the love of God, I am whole, perfect, and complete. Allow those words to go deeper and deeper, and allow your breath to welcome them and invite them in. As we sing one more time. I am whole, perfect, and complete. I am whole, perfect, and complete. I am whole, perfect, and complete. Just as I am. Just as I am. In the mind of God, just as I am in the heart of God, just as I am in the love of God, I am whole, perfect, and complete. 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 Just as I am.
Dear friends, dear sisters and brothers, coming into this now moment, just relaxing after that beautiful chant. Just relaxing. Enjoying our breathing in and out. The miraculous feeling of the breath. Just feel it. Our breathing is always in the present and can always be a doorway for us into the present moment, so that our mind and our bodies can become one. Now, just for the purposes of this meditation, allow yourself to imagine being in a world where everything is perfect. After the meditation, you can go right back to all the dualities and all the imperfections. But for now, during this meditation, let your consciousness flow free from all those dualities into the oneness of things. What unity calls the Absolute. This is the view from the perspective of our souls, not so much from our personalities. Not perfection is something we have to achieve, but just experiencing the perfection of what already is, flying free. Not necessarily that everything is always good, but in some way that we can't understand completely, it's all perfect. And if we can't grasp that with our intellects, with our minds, that's okay. Perhaps we can feel it in our hearts, intuit that in our souls. That all is one. That we are one. that love is one. Just as our love for each other and ourselves brings us together in oneness. From Desiderata, whether or not it is clear to us, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. Therefore, be at peace with God. Whatever you conceive her or him or it to be. No doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. Allow yourself for this meditation to dwell in a perfect realm where you understand on some level that everything that happens for a reason. Reasons that we may not completely understand with our minds. But if we open up, it can make sense to our heart and to our soul. The world is perfect as it is, including our desire to change it.
I'm a little hesitant to talk again.
Because Richard's chants are so beautiful, and you all gave that meditation, at least for me, such power. So I'll just say very few words about duality. The second meditation after Richard's chant is going to be about duality, and in a way coming back down and dealing with everyday life, but in a way that keeps present what we just went through, where we just were at the same time.
I invite you to hold the words, Spirit am I. Free of all limits, safe and healed and whole. Again, silently to yourself, Spirit am I. Free of all limits, safe and healed and whole. Spirit am I, free to forgive and free to save the world. Spirit am I. Spirit am I. Free of all limits, safe and healed and whole. Spirit am I. Free to forgive and free to save the world. Spirit am I. As you feel led, please join me. Spirit am I. Free of all limits. Free of all limits, safe and healed and whole. Spirit am I, free to forgive and free to save the world. Spirit am I. Spirit am I. Free of all limits, safe and healed and whole. Spirit am I. Free to forgive and free to save the world. Spirit am I. One last time. Spirit am I. Free of all limits, safe and healed and whole. Spirit am I. Free to forgive and free to save the world. Spirit am I. Spirit am I. Spirit am I. Spirit am I.
The Buddha, after his enlightenment, spent the next 45 years of his life in service to others, teaching. Although Jesus experienced being one with the Father and Mother, he served others with great love and great compassion. A way for us to avoid closing ourselves off to the suffering of others, the suffering in the world, and however we may be experiencing suffering. It's by keeping in mind, keeping in heart and soul that oneness. So become aware of the situation in your life right now that you might feel is a challenge for you. Not necessarily the most major challenge you're facing, but not a little one either, maybe somewhere in the middle. But one that does cause you some anxiety or some anger or some sadness. This could be something in yourself, or it could be something that someone else is experiencing, or you experience that pain, or something in the world. And see if you can surround that situation with your sense of the oneness. With love, with compassion. See if it may give you a different perspective, a different lens through which to view that issue, that challenge. Not denying it's there, not repressing it, but bathing it in the light of the oneness. See if you can bathe that situation in light, in love. perhaps there is some reason for it. When Ram Dass was going through his very holy stage, he just wanted to stay spiritual all the time and just meditate all the time. And one of his teachers said, "Hey Ram Dass, you're in Earth School. Why not try taking the curriculum?" What can we learn from this situation? How can we keep our hearts open while dealing with the suffering of others in the world and not be overwhelmed by it? By being open to this level of oneness, of compassion and unconditional love, to the extent that we can do that. And no blame, no shame if we can, because we need to be compassionate with ourselves and bathe ourselves in that same light of love. So perhaps we could experience our anxiety, our anger, not necessarily as an enemy, but as a friend. And through that compassion, seek healing.
Let's just sit for a few moments of complete silence, fully human and fully divine. And so as we begin to bring this portion of our evening to a close, once again fill your lungs to their capacity with the love that's in this room, the feeling in this room, and bring your awareness back to the room and the people that you've shared this brief time with, with gratitude in our hearts, we move back into the unreal world, or the real world, depending on how you see it. Fully present, fully awake and fully aware. As you feel led, open your eyes. Just do me a favor and share a little bit of quiet gratitude. Beautifully done, great, thank you. We want to thank those of you who have been watching us online. If you like what Greg does, he's doing it every Sunday morning at 9 o'clock. And he'll be doing another meditation this coming Sunday. Hope you can join us. But those of you in the room, this completes the second portion of what we do on Wednesday nights. The third portion, some people just want to stay right there. Don't get into your head. But we have a conversation about the meditation or about whatever is up in your life. It can go wherever it needs to go because it is God-directed, not human-directed or minister-directed. It is absolutely free-flowing conversation with family. If you're not staying for that portion of it, there's a couple of baskets at the door if you'd like to say thank you. We very much appreciate your generosity and say thank you for that generosity. Those of you online can also participate and find a way to give. The guys in the booth will put that screen up there so you can see, and then you can say thank you as well. We belong to each other. So those who are not staying, have a wonderful evening and drive home safely. And we hope to see you Sunday. Those who are staying, I hope to see you Sunday too, but we're going to turn the lights up. We're going to circle the chairs, put them in a circle, and we're just going to have a conversation about the ideas that have just been shared. I do want to let you know we have a very special meditation next week. Many of you were here when Bill talked about his experience with the whales, and I said, Bill, would you do a meditation on the whales? So we're going to be bathed in the sound of whales and to be taken on an experience of utter bliss, creativity, joy, and oneness. So come join us next Wednesday night.